sister's a therapist and I tell jokes. We both want to help all kinds of folks.
Hello, and welcome to My Sister's a Therapist. This is a podcast. I don't know if you've heard of those, but it's something where people record like a radio show and then they'll put it up so you can listen to it whenever. It's like texting someone a radio show. I do this recording with my sister. Who am I? My name is Virginia Jones. I'm a stand-up comedian of absolutely no repute. My sister is Laura Ryan, LMFT, and she's a therapist.
Hello, I'm Laura Ryan. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, but my main credit is sister to the diva of deadpan, Virginia Jones.
Welcome to the show, everyone. If you are a repeat listener, or even if you just started listening for this 48 seconds, this is it. This is the podcast I'm going to get into.
This is all I'll ever need.
Please follow us or subscribe to us, whatever platform you're listening on. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible. Follow us so you can make sure and know what we're up to. So we can know that you're out there.
If you ever meet a person in any context, ever, if you're getting your shoes cleaned, if you're getting
someone hit your car,
colostomy bag replaced, let them know that they should be listening to My Sister's a Therapist podcast.
We should make a bumper sticker that says, keep honking. I'm picking up mental health tips and hilarious sister dynamic on My Sister's a Therapist podcast.
That seems like a lot of words to put on a bumper sticker.
Laura, what do you have this week in Listener Corner?
I'm not sure if this is changing, but I think we have a few more lady listeners. We have 51.7% women, 45.5% male.
I did notice that the women percentage is going up, which is what we want anyway.
What's your best guess for our most popular age range? 0 to 17, 18 to 22, 23 to 27, 28 to 34, 35 to 44, 45 to 59, or 60 plus?
I'm assuming it's 45 to 59.
You are correct. What do you think follows that?
30s?
Yeah, 35 to 44 is the next one. And then in a surprising twist, we still have our third place for 23 to 27.
Which, look, we're delighted to be part of your day.
And actually, our 60 plus has gone up a little bit. So our 60 plus and 18 to 22 are the same.
Interesting. We can only assume that our mother is hyping the podcast, perhaps our baby niece.
I have a lot of 60 plus friends that I'm telling about the podcast. So let's check in with our international listenership. As you probably guessed, United States still holding strong at number one.
What?
UK is next. UK's worked their way back.
Good day.
Thank you, UK. Brazil, Germany, Turkey, France, Canada, Spain, Thailand, and Italy. Australia, where'd you go?
What happened, Australia? Maybe we've been banned in Australia.
We're so controversial.
Social media in Australia is banned for people under 16. So maybe that's where all of our listeners were coming from.
I'm sure of it. Our overall listenership for 0 to 17 is 1.2%.
So that's your child and then maybe a couple other children.
If you've listened to our podcast before, you may or may not know that each week, one of us gets to be the teacher and the other one gets to be the dumb stump in the corner. This week, I am the dumb stump. So Virginia, what is our topic for today?
Drinking that dumb stump juice. Today, I would like to talk about sleepmaxxing. Sleepmaxxing.
Is that like looks maxing, but except sleep?
Exactly.
I need to be doing more of that. I didn't do enough of it last night.
How much sleep did you get?
I went out and did some karaoke, laid down at 2:30, woke up at 7:30.
Oh, wow. Did you know that sleeping regularly under 6 hours a night will increase your chances of early death? It will increase your blood pressure and your cholesterol, which is weird. But as we've been talking about, it's a closed system.
Considering the fact that I do karaoke 6 nights a week and get up at 7:30 every day, it's going to be a tough run for me, I think.
So sleepmaxxing is a neologism, which means a new word that we made up and we're starting to use as if it's a word that we've always had. And it grows out of looksmaxxing, which arose in the 2010s from the incel culture. For our 45 to 55 group, looksmaxxing means you're going to try your hardest to be as attractive as you can. And it's almost exclusively used by men because to looksmax, to try to watch your diet and exercise, to try to do facial exercises, to use cosmetics to improve your appearance, that's just what being a woman is all the time. But when men do it, it has to have a name.
I've been looksmaxing since I was born.
When my mother came to visit me in the hospital when she saw me for the first time. They swaddled me, but I was still doing little baby crunches. I was just doing like little,
She came to visit you. I'm pretty sure you were already in the room with her.
In my mind, it's that thing where it's in the 50s and there's all the babies in the glass cage and you point it and they go, that's my baby. I don't know if it happened that way. My memories of the time are thin.
Well, I'm going to tell you, when I was first born, the first thing I did was to get eyelash extensions.
So smart. So smart. Because then baby wakes up and you feel like she already has her eyes done.
She wants to look rested.
Because she's not getting enough sleep, therefore sleepmaxxing. So soft maxing, a form of looks maxing, is something that every teenage boy, I think, should look into. Common care routines like going to the gym, getting a new haircut, moisturizing your face, trying to work on your acne.
We just call that grooming, right?
Grooming, just regular grooming. But they have to have a name for it because why would you do it otherwise? Also in looks maxing, there's mewing, which your child talks about. Trying to keep your tongue in a place that is going to make your jawline more pronounced.
More snatched, as the kids say.
When we get into the abnormal area, there's hard maxing, intentionally starving yourself, getting implants or limb lengthening surgeries, using steroids. Wikipedia has just let me know that there's an additional method known as bone smashing, hitting one's face against objects such as a hammer in order to create a chiseled look. This practice is considered an inside joke, and few have actually done it.
I did it. That's why I look like labeled this now.
Right. When we get into the really extreme forms of looks maxing, people are taking meth so that they get that nice hollowed out look. They are going under facial surgeries.
I watched a YouTube video recently where a 21-year-old man who is a known looks maxer was injecting silicone, I think, into his 17-year-old girlfriend's face.
That seems safe because he's on TikTok.
Yeah, he's on YouTube. TikTok is too good for him.
They like to talk about mogging, which is being more attractive than other people and asserting dominance based on attractiveness. The whole concept is based on the very flawed idea that women are always going to pick the most attractive man.
What it's really doing is centering the male gaze on males because they have no idea what women actually want. They're thinking if they were women, what they would want.
It is most extreme levels. Looks maxing perpetuates unrealistic physical expectations, prompting disordered eating habits among teenage boys. Body dysmorphia, something that women have long been the main purveyors of. A side part of looks maxing has been sleep maxing. And this can mean a lot of things. It can mean trying to get the ideal amount of sleep or the ideal quality of sleep to appear well rested for good mental health. It can be sleeping on your back because it will keep your face more symmetrical. And like everything, there's a low end and a high end. First, I want to talk about the downsides of not getting enough sleep and how important sleep is. And then we'll talk about sleep maxing from one to the other extreme and what might be good and what might not.
Okay, I also want to tell you that it's groypers.
What does that mean?
The Groyper Army are a far-right group of loosely defined followers, fans, or supporters of political activist and online streamer Nick Fuentes. They are named after a variant of Pepe the Frog, an internet meme. That's where looks maxing comes from.
I don't think he looks that great.
Nick Fuentes? Oh, he looks terrible.
I've seen more attractive neo-Nazis.
Like who? Name your top 3 neo-Nazi hotties. Goebbels was hot, but he was an old-timey Nazi.
Rudolf Hess was very attractive. He was an old-school Nazi. Eva Braun. Joseph Goebbels looks a lot like Richard E. Grant, which I'm into. Adolf Hitler, he wasn't much in the face, but he would sometimes wear lederhosen with those socks.
He was looks maxing his legs.
Yes. That's a hot tip for young men today. If your face isn't anything special, what else can you do?
If you have what they would call a butter face, because everything butter face looks good. Try popping on a mask and wearing some lederhosen.
When my roommate and I were on Tinder, not looking for each other, but just swiping, she was always showing me these abs. 1, if he shows them to Tinder, he wants to show them to everybody. 2, if the abs are what he's putting on display, the face isn't any good.
He's interested in finding a man. That's the sort of thing you do for men.
It worked on her for whatever reason.
I am really struggling to find an attractive neo-Nazi. There's just a lot of troubles going on.
I think Nick Fuentes, and I'm going to take on the whole internet, he's mid at best.
Mid and proud is what I would call Nick Fuentes.
The stages of sleep deprivation. This is from healthline.com. You've stayed up 24 hours before.
Yes, I did it 2 Christmases ago.
It may increase your risk of errors and accidents in everyday tasks because it reduces alertness, attention span, and executive function. According to the CDC, being awake for 24 hours is similar of having a blood alcohol concentration of 0.1, keeping in mind that the legal intoxication limit for driving is 0.08. I did do this when I moved to Portland, Oregon. My last very foolish road trip, I was leaving a show that I had done that I was not willing to give up in Ventura. I was awake over 24 hours driving to Portland. And at the end, I did get pulled over because people had reported that I was weaving.
Wow.
That would all line up. I was effectively drunk.
When I didn't sleep for 24 hours, I had basically spent an entire night wrapping all of my gifts to my son, plus everyone else's gifts to my son that had been mailed to him, plus other people's gifts. I looked at the clock and it was 6 a.m. And then it was just time to get up to take him to school. And then right after that, I had to start picking people up from the airport. It was horrific. But I agree. I did feel a little bit drunk all day.
I kind of enjoy that loopy feeling a little bit if I don't have anything hard to do. But I've had the experience of I'm too tired to deal with this. Please just show me where I need to put my passport and let me leave.
Don't try to engage me in any kind of conversations.
Don't make me do a quiz. I can't. After 36 hours of sleep, you may start to have micro sleeps, which is just a few seconds, you just check out.
Actually, that also happened to me when I was at work. I was breastfeeding a lot and not sleeping very much. I would involuntarily fall asleep in the middle of a sentence.
My ex-husband experienced this on a European trip. He wasn't able to sleep on the flight over, and he wanted to go to a record store when he got there. So he said he was flipping through records, and every once in a while he would see a black record, just totally black. And he thought that was weird. And then he would keep going and he would keep seeing black records, and he realizes that he was just passing out.
That sounds really healthy.
At 36 hours, a day and a half of consciousness, you may begin to hallucinate.
So there's an article in Doze magazine by Sasha Spencer, and the article is 201 Hours Awake, the DJ who dared to defy sleep. In the winter of 1955, in the heart of New York's Times Square, this charismatic 32-year-old Peter Tripp attempted to challenge the limits of human endurance. From inside the glass booth, the DJ remained awake for an outstanding 201 hours and 10 minutes, broadcasting the live spectacle dubbed the Wake-a-thon. By day 4, things began to take a darker turn. The DJ grew irritable, paranoid, and emotionally volatile. He accused his wife of infidelity and believed his colleagues were conspiring against him. He began to suspect the doctors were poisoning him, and a coat rack became an intruder that he tried to fight off. He believed he was living 2 lives, one awake and one dreaming.
Yeah, it's not good for you. You shouldn't do it.
By day 5, his hallucinations became more vivid and bizarre. He claimed to see celebrities who weren't there, including Frank Sinatra and Doris Day. At one point, he was convinced he was in a Florida airport.
Wow. Because your brain's just dumping out. After 48 hours, you will get perceptual distortions. You will get increased irritability, temporal disorientation. You may think you're in a Florida airport, anxiety, and depersonalization. And what is depersonalization?
Depersonalization happens a lot with people with schizoaffective disorder. It's a dissociative phenomenon characterized by a subjective feeling of detachment from oneself, manifesting as a sense of disconnection from your thoughts, emotions, sensations, and actions, often accompanied by a feeling of observing oneself from an external perspective. It's like you're floating on a wall and watching yourself. You're not in your body.
At 96 hours of no sleep, people use this for torture. Your perception of reality may be so distorted it resembles acute psychosis. Unlike a regular psychotic person, you will be cured just by going to sleep. It's amazing what the brain cannot tolerate and what the body cannot tolerate.
The consequences for Tripp were severe. In the following months, he battled severe depression, developed ulcers, and was diagnosed with high blood pressure. His public image also took a hit when he revealed that he had accepted $36,000 in bribes from record companies to play particular records. He was found guilty of commercial bribery, fined $500, and received a 6-month suspended sentence.
Wow.
Peter Tripp's Wake-a-thon remains one of the most dramatic demonstrations of the importance of sleep, living on in research, psychology textbooks, and collective memory of a sensational era of broadcast stunts. My understanding is that Peter Tripp stopped being a DJ after that.
He had been awake for so long that a good couple nights sleep did not fix him. He had long-lasting effects.
When he admitted for some reason to everyone that he had been taking bribes, that was months after the Wake-a-thon.
And like everyone, every once in a while has poor sleep. you're studying for a test, you're driving to Portland, you have a small child, infant, I guess they're called.
I don't think infant counts as the other ones. I remember when a friend was about to have a baby, I said, I want you to understand that all-nighter you pulled that one time is not going to be the same as what's happening when you have a baby. This is going to be years of sleep deprivation. This is not going to be for a week or a night.
You and I had the conversation when you had a baby, which is where you learned it. You can't picture how tired you are. You can't picture ever being that tired. You would have one night of poor sleep or 2 nights of poor sleep, and then you would catch up, but there's never any catching up.
Right. You're always at a deficit. So you never actually recover. I don't think I ever really felt fully rested until he was 4 or 5, maybe.
Effects of poor sleep, poor attention span, reduced emotional capacity, impaired judgment, long-term effects, as many as 15% of cases of Alzheimer's disease were attributable to poor sleep. You get an increase in anxiety, depression, and migraines.
I remember our father famously bragged about the fact that he only slept 4 hours a night. And I'm thinking, yeah, bro, that's why you died.
You were in terrible health. You were in terrible mental health. Not great for you. And why was he sleeping 4 hours a night? So he could work more. Great.
Like your ex-husband, it seems like the healthy choice.
The CDC recommends 7 hours of sleep and says that that amount will help a person have fewer sick days, help them maintain a healthy weight, lower stress and boost mood, lower the risk of health issues, including heart disease and type 2 diabetes, and improve your attention and memory. What are some things we do for sleep maxing? The more accepted ones are sleep in a cooler room, try to reduce screen time before bed, weighted blankets, white noise machine. A lot of TikTokers are recommending things like eating kiwis before bed, using red light goggles, because if you're looking at blue light of a screen, but you're looking at it through red light, then it's not blue anymore, right?
I heard that all of that stuff about blue light was a scam anyway.
I'm not a doctor or a therapist. I think what keeps you awake looking at your phone is keeping your brain very active. You want to start approaching a chill out state if you're trying to go to sleep. I cannot watch a TikTok about how the world is ending and we're not going to have any frogs anymore and then slide into peaceful, easy sleep.
We'll have plenty of groypers though.
You're going to have that kind of frog.
The fun thing about having a child is I had insomnia for years caused by him, and then immediately just rolled into perimenopause insomnia, which is also fun. Some of the things that I have done are taking melatonin before I go to bed, wearing an eye mask, stacking my pillows so that my GERD doesn't act up. I also got a bamboo bed cover. Feels really nice, like a hotel bed.
Have you heard of keeping your bedroom under 70 degrees?
Yeah, I've always done that though.
Taking magnesium or melatonin, like you said. Mouth taping.
What mouth taping has done for me is I wake up with sticky black stuff all over my pillow and the mouth tape that I've removed in the night on the floor.
Mouth taping is supposed to help you with snoring. It can be dangerous, especially for people with sleep apnea. And there's no telling that it actually benefits. One of the dangers of sleep maxing is buying a bunch of stuff that may or may not work. One of the most famous cases was there was a mattress called 8 Sleep. It was going to adjust temperature to keep you at the ideal sleeping temperature, but it was cloud dependent. And there was a cloud internet outage. People woke up with their bed freezing cold or 100 degrees. They woke up sitting straight up and were not able to control it because the internet was not working and there was no other way to control the bed.
Is this a paid advertisement for MateCloud?
It's like a Black Mirror in real life. It's a $3,000 mattress and you're paying $300 a year for the subscription for this functionality. The 8 Sleep company announced afterwards they were very sorry. They were going to do a Bluetooth function so that whether your bed was on or offline, you could still turn it down from 100 degrees and you would not have to get off and sleep on the floor. But this is exactly what happens in Black Mirror. They introduce the technology. They never think about what happens if this goes wrong.
That's also what we're doing with AI.
Let's just go forward. We're not going to worry about what happens if it goes wrong. We're just going to see what happens. Another big component of sleep maxing is the sleep trackers. I have one. Our previous guest, Dr. Missy, has one. I have found it helpful. It yells at me when I'm not getting enough sleep. I know that I need to do things to improve. The downside is that in the morning, I check it as soon as I'm up. Sometimes I'll feel fine, but my phone will tell me I should feel bad. So I do feel bad.
A lot of times I'll feel fine in the morning. It says the day wears on that things really start to get real.
Men are more likely than women, 56 to 40%, to use a sleep tracker and are more likely to change behavior based on what they have learned. Additionally, men are more likely than women to have spent between $200 to $500 on consumer sleep products, excluding mattresses.
And why is that?
Men love spending money on stuff. 76% of adults have lost sleep due to worries about sleep. Being concerned with our sleep has given a new anxiety, orthosomnia, preventing individuals from getting the recommended sleep. Because you're lying in bed thinking, if I don't go to sleep right now, right this second, while I'm thinking this, I'm not going to get the sleep I need.
I have a lot of clients who come to me to work on their insomnia, which is sort of a blind leading the deaf situation.
You've read about it.
I've read a lot about it. I think the problem for me is that mostly it's physical, the reasons that I'm not sleeping. It's not mental. What I tell people to do, because I have encountered this sort of phobia, and in fact, I learned this in a training years ago. I cover my clock, so I don't know what time it is, and I don't see my phone. It's in another room. And I tell myself that however much sleep I'm going to get is the right amount, and I'll be fine. And that usually works. And another thing that I do if I'm laying down thinking about a loss of sleep, I play a game. I just pick a letter of the alphabet and spell every word that I can think of that starts with that letter. And that usually works.
Well, that's a fun one. I frequently do a sleep meditation. This is an ad for Headspace. Headspace has sleep podcasts where it's just a person talking in a calming voice about something charming, but there's not a lot of action.
I listened to one that was walking through a beautiful little coffee shop bookstore when it was raining outside.
My favorite one, and there's two parts of it, cat marina. You're walking around in a marina and they're telling you about the different kind of cats that are sleeping on boats, on the marina, what their personalities are. That's the best.
When I do hypnosis for insomnia, I'm basically doing stuff like that. What we're trying to do is we're trying to fake out your brain to stop thinking. And that's where the spelling works. I'm spending all of this time trying to come up with every word that starts with a P. And in doing so, I can't talk to myself anymore because it's the talking to yourself that keeps you awake.
One thing that has helped me when I am focusing on, if I don't go to sleep right now, I'm not going to get what I need. I will say to myself, I'm lying here quietly and I'm not doing anything. And this is still restful. It may not be capital S sleep, but I'm still in a recovery period.
I'm still resting my body.
The pitfalls of sleepmaxxing are that you're going to get so obsessed with sleep that it's going to get worse and not better. People get hyper-focused on one aspect of their lives. If I could just get enough sleep, if I could just get enough exercise, if I could do enough meditation, everything would be great. It may pass in and out of your ability to maintain.
And the problem also is that you are trying to mess with a natural human function of the body. I encounter this a lot when male clients come to me with sexual issues. They're so focused on everything working that they make it so that it will never work.
I was talking with someone recently about women's anxiety around performance and how I think a reason that women lean on faking it is that once you get too in your head about your ability to reach a climax, you're never going to do it.
It's like trying to manage your sneezing or something.
Right.
You can't
not think about elephants.
Well, that's one of the things I say in one of my sexual problems hypnosis sessions.
It didn't occur to me that you hypnotize people for sexual problems, but of course you do.
There are a couple of things that I will not do hypnosis for. If anyone's thinking about it, I will not find a lost object of yours. And as I mentioned in a previous episode, I will not work on memory retrieval with you.
Right. That's dangerous. The lost object thing, I think we're focusing on hypnosis as a party trick.
It's basically memory retrieval. So it's the same problem.
Oh, that can be faked. You can leave the office quite sure that your grandma's ring is behind the refrigerator and it's not.
Exactly. And then it's not. And then you call me and you're mad at me.
From the article, Sleepmaxxing is trending. I'd caution against it in Vogue. Sleepmaxxing can backfire if it turns what should be a restorative process into a high-pressure chore. For some individuals, being overly attentive to sleep optimization and sleep patterns every night can increase stress and worsen sleep over time.
I also experienced this with sports psychology. I remember I had a client in the past who was a professional bull rider. He had to focus on this one thing with his wrist. He had to flip his wrist in this specific way at this specific moment. And if he focused too much on it, he would ruin it. It's about letting your body do what it naturally does and stop trying to control it.
I was reading in the New York Times, there's a skier named Tess Johnson who says, I wake up in the middle of the night ruminating, worrying about the competition. And it's hard. These people are not on their home time zones. They're traveling. They're sleeping sleeping in a strange place. They're going through thousands of condoms. Do you see that story?
No.
They ran out of condoms at the Olympic Village on the third day because it's the sexiest people in the world trying to keep warm.
Also, these people have been pretty much cut off from any sort of social life most of the time because they're always practicing.
She finds vigilance around sleep is counterproductive to sleep. She said, actually, I have done some of my best performances a little sleep deprived, speaking to what you're talking about, which is being in flow state.
Just allowing your body to do what it's been trained to do.
My body knows what to do, and thinking too much about it is not going to help me.
That's one of the mantras that I use in the hypnosis. Your body knows what to do. Your body knows how to sleep. Your body was born for this. It's a natural thing. We're not trying to mess with nature.
If you are struggling with sleep, Olympians say if you're sleeping somewhere new, make the place your own, whether that's bring your own pillow or a mini humidifier. Make sure to keep the room cool and try to develop a calming evening routine. It can be meditation, something as simple as box breathing, having some sleepy time tea. I think the most important things are trying to wake up and go to sleep at the same time on local time. This has been a struggle for me when I travel. My body wants to get up when it's 6:30 in Los Angeles, not when it's 6:30 in London. Try not to worry about it too much. Worrying about it doesn't help it. Laura, what are your final thoughts about sleep and sleepmaxxing and sleep hygiene?
Well, I'm always trying to learn more about groypers.
Thank you for bringing all of the Nick Fuentes Groypers facts to the yard.
Sleepmaxxing is something I've been trying to do for about 13 years now. When I was younger, sleep came so easily. It was effortless, and I could sleep 10 or 12 hours without even thinking about it.
I remember showing off to other people about how much I slept and how easy it was. And maybe that's why I have problems now.
Potentially. I really do think for me, it was having a child. There's a lot of anxiety around having a child, especially when you're personally responsible for taking care of them, making sure they're alive at nighttime. Now I'm just experiencing hormonal problems because I don't wake up with anxiety. I don't wake up with fearful thoughts or anything like that. My body just says, hey, guess what? Who cares that you went to bed at 2 a.m.? It's 7 o'clock. Let's get up.
An interesting thing about this story is this is the first time in American history where we haven't been encouraging people to live on as little sleep as possible. Bill Clinton was famous for 4 hours of sleep.
Donald Trump, that's his whole thing. He doesn't sleep. And that's why his brain is a piece of Swiss cheese.
Right.
So my final thoughts, it's a complicated issue. I didn't realize until I was experiencing it myself how very complicated it is. It relies on a lot of different things, but I would say if you're having a hard time sleeping, if it's 3 a.m. and you're listening to this, I would say go ahead, pick a letter in the alphabet, try to spell as many words as you can. And if you're still awake when you get to the end, pick another letter.
When you get to the end of all words.
I used to do it starting with the letter A, just go A to Z.
Then you get too good at Apple.
Then I get really tired of A, B, and C. So now I just pick a random letter and I find that works better. Don't take it too seriously. Don't listen to anything that an incel thinks is a good idea. Don't worry about your looks or your sleep. Virginia, what are your final thoughts on this topic?
Your looks and your sleep are also related. That they say beauty sleep for a reason. I find it interesting as a culture, we seem to be more sober and more concerned with sleep. We are getting to a point where we are trying to do what's best for our bodies and our minds in a way that we haven't done before. In the 80s and the 90s, it was just frenetic. Take caffeine pills, take Vivarin and study.
I think it's also probably attributed to boomers because we don't care about what happens to women, but we do care a lot about what happens to men. And they probably noticed all of these boomer men are passing away very young. And so maybe we should try to do something to mitigate that.
I have the same problem at the age that I am at, which is does not matter when I go to sleep. I'm going to wake up at the same time every day. I have to be really careful about staying up. Some nights I got to be out at shows. I did have an extremely old person feeling the other day. I had done a show that ended at 10:30. All the comics around me started saying where they were going to go to next or the thing that they were going to do next. I'm going home because I'm a grandma. I'm a grandma that never was.
Last night, I was standing with a bunch of middle-aged women. We'd sung the crap out of TLC and No Doubt. We even got some Tears for Fears in the mix.
Oh, nice. What'd you sing?
Everybody Wants to Rule the World. I remember thinking, I haven't had a night out in a really long time. My friends came home with me. We had a little sleepover. And I thought, oh, maybe we'll come back and have another beer and hang out some more. We all came back One of my friends ate Taco Bell and drank a Dr. Pepper. I had some olives and a bubble water and went right to bed.
Exactly. The nights of staying up all night, drinking more. Oh no, it's 4 a.m. We have to go to sleep. Those nights are over effectively for me. I've seen 4 a.m. It's not that interesting. I enjoy how much we are trying to be healthier as a culture in a world that is not taking care of us. We are taking care of ourselves. That's another joy of being 50 is I don't feel self-conscious when I turn to my partner and say, it's 10 p.m. Do you want to go to bed?
I would also attribute this to Gen Z. These kids are in a different world than we are. They've realized the error of our ways.
They're all about self-care.
They don't want to overwork. They don't want to undersleep. They don't want to do a bunch of drugs or drink to excess. They don't want to sleep around with a bunch of people. They're thinking
or have sex ever.
Right. I think they're sort of rebounding from what our generation and the millennials created.
It's a reaction to years of excess in the other direction. They're freaky little aliens and I love them for it. Laura, where can people find you on the internet should they wish to engage with you professionally or just learn more about this podcast?
They can find me if they want to work with me professionally at lauraryan.org. If you live in the state of Texas, we can do therapy and we can work on your insomnia. If you want to find my very unprofessional TikTok account, which almost has 1,500 followers, you can find me at I am Laura Ryan. If you want to go somewhere where all the podcast episodes are in the same place, you can go to mysistersatherapist.com. You can also go to YouTube now. And if you're interested in social media and our podcast, you can find us at My Sister's a Therapist Instagram page. Virginia, if people want to fall asleep at your shows after 10 p.m., how would they go about doing that?
Please don't fall asleep in my shows. I used to do shows at a dead club called Harvey's. The Saturday night, we would do a show at 5:30. We would do a show at 8 and we would do a show at 10. And when the lights came up after the 10 p.m. show, people were asleep on the table. Also, they had been drinking. You can find my show schedule at Badinia, BADINIA.com. That's also my Instagram. You can find such things on my website as a map of everywhere I've ever performed comedy and a link to all of my other social media presences. If you would like to write us with a show idea or a comment or a compliment, please hit us up at hello@mysistersatherapist.com. If you would like to write us a review, we would love it. And you can leave that anywhere and we will see it. It can be Spotify, it can be Apple, it can be YouTube. You can also just write us a nice note and send it to hello@mysistersatherapist.com and we will read it on the air. If you would like to hire us to promote your product, the products we are currently extremely interested in promoting are Aura Rings, G-Sauce, Costco.
I'm going to shout out specifically to Kirkland brand Sleep Aid.
Big believer in Kirkland brand Sleep Aid. Headspace,
Liquid Death,
Waterloo flavored waters. You can hit us up at hireus@mysistersatherapist.com. Laura, now is the part of the episode where you will read a nice review or note someone has sent us. Do you have something this week?
I certainly do. This is an Apple podcast review. The title is I Love This Podcast, and it's from Natty107. Natty107 says, I typically struggle to listen to podcasts because most podcasters lull me to sleep with their superficial and rehearsed topics. Well, Natty, you're not going to enjoy this episode. Laura and Virginia make me feel like I'm hanging out with really knowledgeable friends who entertain and inform, which is hard to find in a podcast. I love their crazy personal stories and how they know so much, but aren't know-it-alls. Speak for yourself, Natty. You go, girls. Thank you, Natty.
You will never accuse us of being overprepared. Laura, I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for all our listeners. If you haven't subscribed to this podcast, Laura, please do so.
I actually have.
Okay. But I would like to close on a meditation from our spiritual leader, Billy Ray Valentine, Capricorn. As he said so famously, we can make it, baby.
Me and you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.